All right, welcome back to the Ghosty Girls podcast. Oh my god. I'm Christina.
I'm Alicia.
You doing all right from last week?
Excellent.
Last week wasn't that crazy.
No.
It wasn't. It was the background of Ed Gein.
He only killed his brother, and
He
his mom
maybe
died
killed
and
his
his
brother,
girlfriend.
and then he killed Mary Hogan, who was the tavern owner, and then he killed Bernice Warden, who was the owner of the hardware store.
Yes,
God.
she sold them hammers.
She sold him some antifreeze.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
You know what I thought was weird too, which I wanted to ask in the moment, and then my brain just farted out.
mm-hmm.
They had to fill up bottles of antifreeze for people.
Apparently so.
Huh.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Nuts.
But yeah, last week we left off with police finding Ed, questioning him about Bernice Warden, and then police entering Ed's home to sniff around a little bit to see what they could find.
Mm-hmm.
And sniff around they did, because I'm sure that place stunk to the high fucking heavens.
Not as bad as the what's it called?
The Mexia supermarket.
Not as bad as the Mexia supermarket.
Yeah, this was just like bodies and stuff, but we'll get there. Just you wait. So the cops, they're walking through this house that can only really be described as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house meets an episode of A&E's Hoarders. Because remember, it was dirty. Okay, Ed was not a good housekeeper. The police, they only have flashlights. It's dark. It's cold. It's messy. One of the officers searching the house, he feels something brush up against his back. He turns. He shines his flashlight to see what it was that grazed him. And he sees the decapitated corpse of a large white female hanging from the ceiling by its legs. The body had been completely gutted from the chest all the way through the vagina and was ultimately identified as the corpse of Bernice Warden. And there's actual pictures of this online, and it's an absolutely horrific sight. Like, I can't even imagine what these officers felt when they saw that, like when they shined their flashlights and there's just a headless body hanging upside down.
They probably thought it wasn't real.
Yeah.
Then again,
I can't even imagine. It's crazy. And actually, the officer that first discovered her after the body brushed up against him, he had to run outside to vomit, which
can't
understandably
imagine why.
so. Yeah. So you would think that this would be the worst of it, right? Surely nothing can trump the finding of a headless, gutted body swinging from the fucking ceiling from its ankles, but no, 'twas not. And now I'm going to do a rundown of the inventory of items that were found in the Gein farmhouse.
Meh.
Let me take a moment to clear my throat.
Let me
Have mercy, babe. I hope you don't mind. In all seriousness, though, this is going to be rough, okay? There's no delicate way to describe what the fuck was found in that house. So don't eat any snacks during this part, okay?
I was getting ready to grab those maple cream cookies.
Don't do it. So we'll start off light and we'll work our way up because, again, this is it's a little rough. Found in the home of Edward Theodore Gein was the following: huge piles of trash and rotten food, true crime magazines, Nazi magazines, and pornography magazines, a coffee can full of chewed pieces of gum. Not really sure why.
How many? What'd you say?
A coffee can full of chewed pieces of gum.
Gross. Okay.
Yeah, I don't really understand that.
Listen,
but okay.
Willy Wonka is coming up a lot in this.
Yeah.
Because what was a Violet?
Violet Beauregard.
She kept the gum behind her ear.
Yeah, she did.
Beauregard.
It doesn't even fucking matter. The girl that turned into a fucking blueberry.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think is, like, I don't know. There were references to Ed, like, chewing gum when he was in court. So maybe he just, I don't know. I guess he was a gum chewer and he liked to save his pieces of chewed gum in a coffee can. I don't fucking know.
It's gross.
They also found soup bowls made out of the sawed off skulls of human heads. So he was eating out of soup bowls that were made out of skulls.
Okay.
A bedpost decorated with human skulls on each post. A complete set of 4 chairs made out of human skin and lumps of fat.
What?
Yeah.
God, it had to smell real bad in there.
Yeah. Jewelry made out of human skin. Lampshades made out of human skin. A trash can that was covered in dried human skin. This is your favorite one. A belt made out of women's dried nipples.
Why is it always the nipples?
I don't know.
Merch.
Why is it always the nipples?
No, too soon.
A box containing several human noses. Just random noses.
Oh, God.
A Quaker Oats container filled with scraps of skin.
Okay.
I don't know. A curtain with a shade pole that had a set of lips attached to it.
That's a new term for meat curtain.
Oh, that was witty. Look at you. A shoebox containing women's vaginas, including, I know.
A box full of box.
I know.
I can't.
It's crazy.
It's too much.
And in the box was a painted vulva.
Oh, God.
One dressed in a red ribbon. One was sprinkled with salt. And one had the anus still attached to it. At least 2 of the vulvas found in the box were found to be from girls around the age of 15 years old. So there's that. An extensive collection of women's fingernails.
So I should not have eaten those cookies.
You did that to yourself. Fuck. Leggings made out of human leg skin.
That's where they got the term leggings.
A vest made of a female torso complete with breasts. So he had essentially skinned a torso from the shoulders to the waist so he could wear it like a bodysuit.
It's not a
Just
vest.
let that sink in for a moment.
I can't let any of this sink in because I'm visualizing it. That's how my brain works, and it hurts.
The peeled faces of 9 women, which had been made into preserved human skin masks. Some of them still had the scalp with hair attached, and some of them were wearing makeup that Ed had put on them to wear.
Leatherface. I can't.
Leatherface.
I can't.
Yup. Tons and tons of body parts ranging from vaginas, breasts, heads, bones, etc. The entrails of Bernice Worden wrapped up in newspaper. The heart of Bernice Worden stored in a plastic bag in front of the stove. A burlap sack which had steam coming out of it. And this contained the head of Bernice Worden.
Well,
And in a paper bag, police put their arms in and pulled out the face of Mary Hogan, the missing tavern owner. So he had cut off her face,
okay.
made a mask out of it, and he had been wearing it.
Why was the bag steaming with the head in it? Just because of decomp?
The only thing I can think of is maybe it was so fresh because this had just happened that it still had some body heat to it. And this is in November and it was cold. There was no electricity in the house, no heat, obviously. I know. When I saw that, I was like, steam coming out of the bag. What the fuck?
Does decomposition create steam?
So according to the Google, decomposition can cause steam, but only under specific conditions. The steam would be the result of water evaporating due to the heat generated by decomposer organisms like bacteria and fungi as they break down organic matter. I don't think she would have been decomposing that quickly because remember, this is like a couple hours after her son had gone into the hardware store and was like, where the fuck is my mom? Then they found him. So I think that it was probably because
it was
so fresh.
Like
yeah.
Gross. I'm so sorry I digressed, but I needed to.
No, that was an interesting detail, and I had to go back and like reread it a couple times because I was like, steam coming out of a bag? What in the fuck? But it was also super cold in that house, so maybe anything with some kind of I don't know. I don't fucking know. This guy was wearing people's faces. Okay,
let's not worry about the steam coming out of a bag. I get it.
There's nothing that makes sense.
No.
All right.
Gross.
As the officers made their way through the home, they discovered a door that had been completely boarded up. They remove the boards and they go in to find the bedroom of Ed Gein's mother, Augusta, in perfect, untouched condition. Everything was completely in order, although there was a considerable amount of dust on everything, indicating that the room hadn't been entered in years. So after Augusta died, Ed essentially boarded up that room to keep it like a shrine to his mother, which just goes to show like how obsessive he was about his mom. Yeah. Needless to say, after the search of Ed Gein's farmhouse, he was arrested that very same night and taken to Watoma jail in Wisconsin. And Alicia's laughing at me because I literally tried to say Watoma like 4 times and kept forgetting how to say it. So there you go.
Here's the problem. She Googled it, listened to the Google way of saying it,
and then forgot it.
And then asked me, who also forgot. So she had to redo it all.
I don't know. I got to stop drinking, I guess.
We're all there. we're all right there.
Sheriff Art Schley, who had spent hours wading through all of the nasty shit in the Gein farmhouse, showed up to the Watoma jail around 2 a.m. and he was fucking pissed. He was like so mentally disturbed with what he had seen, and he was just like, who the fuck could do something like this? Like, these cops were like, they had to have been like really, really mentally scarred from this shit.
Listen, they probably quit their jobs and went on to be baristas.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I went through the whole inventory, but I just want to stop for a minute and have everyone listening just imagine how you would feel if you opened up a shoebox and saw a bunch of decomposing vaginas in it
that were decorated.
Yeah, one of them had a bow on it.
Not to mention just walking in and seeing a woman hanging without a head upside down. That alone
like would be enough. It's like unfathomable to me.
Well, I think we live in such a time now where TV and movies are so realistic.
Yes, that we're very desensitized.
Desensitized. But back then, none of this was like glorified, if you will. And I don't mean glorified in a good way. I mean glorified like, you know, not everybody. A lot of people are into horror and true crime and stuff like that. But damn.
Yeah, it's not like you had like the movies that we have now that are super realistic. So it's like you see that stuff and you're like, huh, okay. These guys, like, they definitely, I mean, they're police officers, so I'm sure they saw some shit, but Plainfield, Wisconsin was not, like, a high crime area. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go ahead and venture to say that they never went into someone's house and found a box of vulvas.
I don't mean to laugh, but no. How was your day, honey? Well, I saw a box full.
I saw some labia.
Yeah.
How was your day, honey? Can you pass the potatoes? I mean, how do you even like come back from that? And one of the police officers stuck their hand in a bag and pulled out a human face.
I hope he was wearing gloves, though.
I sure should hope so.
I mean, yeah,
I'm sure they were because it was cold out, and also I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Listen, I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, as desensitized as we are, if you just take a moment to like sit with the information that I just gave you and just imagine that house and finding that. I don't know. So back to Sheriff Schley and him being pissed off. He was also pretty angry that no one had yet been able to get a confession out of Ed. Like, Ed wasn't even talking. They took him to the jail, tried to get him to confess. He wasn't having it, just sat there quietly. Sheriff Schley, he walks in, he sees this little guy. He thinks of all of the stuff that he just witnessed, and he just lost his shit, and he ended up slamming Ed's face and head into a wall and essentially like beat the shit out of him.
Good.
I mean, never a good look for an officer to try to beat a confession out of someone. Never a good look.
No, you're right.
And it didn't even work because Ed was relentlessly interrogated for over 12 hours and he still would not budge. He wouldn't say anything. 12 hours of being interrogated, and he also had the shit beat out of him. It's kind of impressive. I mean, I hate to say it, but
yeah,
other people have cracked for less, you know? One thing that really bothered me about all this, like aside from, you know, him getting beat, was the fact that Ed was never once advised that he had the right to have an attorney present while he was questioned. And that's hugely unethical. Like, I get that he's a fucking lunatic and seeing all that shit would make anyone like disturbed and angry, but you still have to follow due process.
100%.
There's no excuse. All right. While Ed was sitting in an interrogation room refusing to speak, the press had made their way to the small, isolated town of Plainfield, Wisconsin. And as everyone knows, word travels fast in a small town. By Sunday, everyone knew what was found at Ed Gein's quote-unquote murder house. That's what they started calling it, murder house. And all kinds of gossip started running rampant. One of the rumors was that body parts had been found in frying pans, which alluded to the possibility of Ed consuming the meat from the corpses found in his home. This, however, has never been substantiated. And Ed himself, he's denied ever partaking in cannibalism. I personally don't think there's any reason to believe that he's lying about that. I mean, it would certainly make the story even more sensational, but that just kind of appears to be another one of the urban legends surrounding Ed Gein. Like, one is that he's this crazy serial killer with a chainsaw. No. And another is that he's a cannibal. There's no evidence of that. Not that it makes anything better, but yeah. A lot of people think Ed Gein, they think cannibal. He's not.
It's not as bad.
On Monday, November 18th, 1957, just 2 days after the murder of hardware store owner Bernice Worden, Ed Gein finally agreed to speak to investigators. He ultimately admitted to shooting Bernice Worden in the head, and then he dragged her body back to his home, but he denied that he was a serial killer. When asked to explain all of the various body parts that were found in his home, Ed had a very simple explanation. He was not a murderer. He was a grave robber. That was his thing. Ed admitted to police that between the years of 1947 and 1952, he visited various cemeteries in the area and dug up freshly buried corpses. He told investigators that he would take whatever body parts he wanted from the corpses, rebury the caskets, and then leave the graves in, quote, apple pie order. That's what he said. Apple pie order. Which is weird. Yeah, I don't know. He's weird. He's odd. Odd. In order to prove his statements, Ed volunteered to take investigators on a fucked up road trip to show them the graves that he had robbed. And sure enough, his story checked out. He was indeed digging up the corpses of middle-aged women who reminded him of his mother, Augusta, and taking them home in order to make macabre trinkets and tchotchkes, as well as household items like furniture, and most infamously, his suit made completely out of women's skin. Gross. The fact that the breasts are still attached fucks me up. I'm sorry. That's so fucking disturbing. And I have to wonder if the Netflix series is going to touch that. They have to, right?
I mean, that's a big portion.
It's a huge portion. And I don't know if I'm ready for that visual.
I don't think they'll show a visual.
It's Ryan Murphy, who did American Horror Story and all that shit.
Maybe
he doesn't really give a fuck.
That's
I mean,
fair.
Did you watch the Dahmer series?
Nope. Yes, I did. I did watch the Dahmer series.
They showed some shit.
They did.
Anywho.
Do you want a ham sandwich?
Ugh. One of the little tidbits of info that came out was that Ed would take the vaginas of the corpses and essentially wear them over top of his penis so he could become a woman. And of course, he would wear the faces like masks. So this guy was just bopping around outside wearing leggings made out of human skin.
Actual leggings.
A torso made out of human skin with breasts on it. And faces.
Would he put clothes on top of?
Oh, and vaginas over his penis to cover it up so it looked like he had a vagina.
That's fair.
I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well go all out, I guess. I don't fucking know.
He didn't need the one with the anus, though, right?
Yeah.
I can't. That's too.
But
I
it
can't.
reminds me of Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs when he tucks it in. He's like, "Would you fuck me, Ed? Fuck me." Like that's essentially what was going on. I mean, I don't think Ed would tuck it in, but he would
stick it through. Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh God. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, here we are.
Now, you're probably all sufficiently grossed out by all of the details, right?
Yes.
But are you ready for the detail that I personally found the most disturbing, disgusting, and revolting?
I don't think I am.
Whilst Ed was being interrogated, he got hungry. And what did he ask for? A cup of coffee and a slice of hot apple pie with a chunk of Wisconsin cheese on top. And what's super fucked up about myself is that out of all the research I did for this and all of the nasty, fucked up things I read about, the only thing that made me say ew out loud was the fact that Ed Gein liked a wedge of cheddar cheese on his apple pie. That's all you really need to know about me as a person, okay?
You know we're going to try that, right?
No, nope.
Yeah.
Wearing the face of a corpse as a mask, cool. Vulvas in a shoebox, okay, fine. Apple pie with cheese on top, that's where I draw the line.
I'm not mad at it.
Apple pie with cheese on top?
I eat peanut butter and cheese.
Oh.
You're like, we can't be friends anymore.
That's a choice.
It's a choice. And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you why, right? So my Papito, we called him, he would have peanut butter and cheese sandwiches. American cheese, peanut butter, right? And
I wish you all could see my face right now.
Listen, I would go, Papito, that's gross. And he said, listen, don't knock it until you try it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was like, all right, touche, I'll try it. It's fucking delicious. Because you have a little bit of like the salty with the cheese and like the creaminess. And then you have like the sweet with the salt, the peanut butter. It's really good.
Comment below what you think of this.
Peanut butter and cheese.
Have you ever had a peanut butter and cheese sandwich? Have you ever had an apple pie with a cheese wedge on it?
I'm going to try it.
Well, good luck. I'll record it. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know.
You're going to have to.
I don't know. I like apples and cheese though. Like I like cutting up apples, especially like Granny Smith apples and putting cheese on top. But I feel like that's more like charcuterie board type shit.
Okay, but it's a charcuterie pie.
I don't know. Comment below. Do you guys think that we should try an apple pie wedge?
We don't care. We're going to.
An apple pie with a wedge of cheese on it.
She's doing it.
But it has to be Wisconsin cheddar cheese.
That's fine. Let's try it. You got that sharp cheese with a sweet apple?
I'm scared.
It's going to be good.
All right. Well, I digress as per usual. Back to the cemetery.
Back to the cemetery with the vaginas missing.
Cemetery field trip. Yeah. Ed confessed to visiting graveyards at night up to 40 times and digging up 9 coffins. He said that he was in a daze when he was in the process of grave robbing. When asked if he had ever engaged in necrophilia with the corpses that he stole, Ed said no because they, quote, smelled too bad. When asked,
drawn.
Yeah, that's where he drew the line. Okay. When asked why the fascination with women's skin, Ed confessed that after the death of his mother, he wanted to become her. So he made a woman's suit in order to accomplish that. Ed actually attempted to dig up the body of his deceased mother, but she was encased in concrete, so he wasn't able to do so. If he would have been able to, he would have dug her up as well. Yep.
Gross.
So, they searched the cemetery. They dug up these graves that Ed said that he had tampered with. And sure enough, they open up the graves. There's nothing in there. One of them, there was nothing in there but Ed's crowbar that he left in there. So, because at first there was kind of like this controversy, like, did he really rob these graves or did he just kill a shit ton of people? But that kind of left like no question about it. Like he actually left his crowbar behind. So
yeah, he was definitely robbing graves and killing people.
Correct. Yep. 2 women. And then the rest were all corpses that he dug up, which is like really fucking disturbing. Anyway.
Man, oh man.
Going back to the woman suit, I just can't. I can't wrap my head around it because Ed said that he would, dress in the skin suit, leggings, put on the skin masks, and he would wear it around the property. Can you imagine?
No. Girl Scouts driving up to sell cookies. I can't.
Shortly after the cemetery field trip with investigators, Ed was transported to the courthouse for his arraignment, and he was charged with 1 count of the first-degree murder of Bernice Warden. Interestingly, even though he did admit to murdering Mary Hogan, the tavern owner, he was never officially charged with said murder, and this was allegedly due to the insane court costs. I don't know. I don't really agree with that, but it is what it is. Ed pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Not a surprising plea. Press and media continued to swarm the small town of Plainfield, and people also traveled from all over the place to get a peek of Ed Gein's house.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Reporters who dubbed Ed the Plainfield head collector interviewed many townsfolk.
Okay.
And all of them were absolutely shocked to find out that Ed was not only a grave robber, but a murderer. People described him as kind, soft-spoken, a hard worker, but he was also very reserved, introverted, awkward, and again, the word that kept coming up was odd. Everyone said he was odd.
Yeah, that's fair.
They also kept calling him, quote, the little man. It's not funny.
The little man.
The little man. But out of all of the comments received from the public, my personal favorite quote came from Plainfield resident Jim McBriar, who stated, quote, Halloween came a little late this year, which I thought was very fitting.
Yeah.
A little juicy piece of tea that was uncovered by the media was that Ed had actually dated a fellow resident of Plainfield named Adeline Watkins. Adeline's mother corroborated her daughter's story and said that when Ed would come over to pick her up to take her to go to the movies, he was polite and he always had her home by 10 p.m. He was a gentleman and a scholar. Not really, but, After Ed pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, he, of course, was ordered to undergo several psychiatric and also medical evaluations before a trial date could be set. And it's here where we get an accurate picture of what was really going on in Ed's head as well as his motives. Ed had developed an unnatural attachment to his mother, Augusta Gein. Shocker. Mm-hmm. But it was also revealed that Ed often dreamed about the possibility of changing into a woman. So much so that he actually even considered performing the surgery on himself, i.e. castrating himself. Yeah, he considered doing that. He specifically chose women and corpses that reminded him of his mother and bore a physical resemblance to her. Opinions were a little mixed when it came to the psychiatrist tasked with evaluating Ed. One doctor opined that Ed was a schizophrenic sexual sadist, while another psychiatrist, although he agreed with the schizophrenia diagnosis, believed that Ed's condition was set in motion entirely by, quote, the conflict set up by his mother, end quote. So according to this psychiatrist's opinion, Ed's mother essentially created the perfect storm of his strange love-hate relationship that manifested itself towards women. In December of 1957, a report containing the physical and psychological test results performed on Ed Gein was submitted to the court. And these were extensive tests. Every bone in his body was x-rayed. His rectum was checked. They checked his scalp for lice. They took blood and even took samples of Ed's spinal fluid. It's noted in the report that Ed often complained of nausea, debilitating headaches, and he even complained of olfactory hallucinations, claiming to smell bad smells that weren't there, and that he compared the smells to quote-unquote flesh.
Okay.
And that's also a common side effect of schizophrenia.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Smelling.
Olfactory hallucinations. Yep.
Okay.
Visual, you can have auditory, which is, hearing things, and then you can have olfactory, which is smelling random smells. An IQ test determined that Ed had a low average IQ. Ed was determined to have a strong feminine identification, as well as schizophrenia with neurotic manifestations. Due to the findings of the report, it was determined that Ed was in no way, shape, or form fit to stand trial. And he was ultimately deemed mentally incompetent and committed to Wisconsin's Central State Hospital for the criminally insane. However, there was one caveat. If Ed was ever found to be cured from his mental illness, he could be brought to trial, which is interesting. Meanwhile, plans for the Gein farmhouse were already underway, and an auction was set to take place, which would include the entire estate, all of Ed's belongings, as well as anything that was left in the house. Now, like, all of the evidence and everything was taken out, but I mean, you still got everything that was left in the house. Eugh.
No thanks.
Yeah. A notice of the auction was circulated, and there was one sentence in small print at the bottom of the flyer that absolutely enraged the residents of Plainfield.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and the quote was, "An inspection fee of 50 cents per person will be charged to all persons going through the dwelling." And people were pissed that now not only was this house up for public auction, and whomever bought it could very possibly turn it into a macabre tourist attraction or museum.
That's fair.
But this auction company was actually profiting off of charging people to come look inside the house.
I mean, it's smart on their part.
It's smart on their part, but the people, you got to remember, this was in the late 1950s. Murderabilia was not really a thing. It was kind of in its infancy, right?
Yeah.
People were not happy about it at all.
I get it. I would have paid that 50 cents, though.
I would have too.
I'd been like, yes, I'd love to see that.
I would have bid on some of his stuff too. Please don't judge me.
I thought you said bit. I was
bid.
Like,
Bid. Actually, I've talked about this before on another podcast. But if you ever go to Las Vegas, if you go to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum, he's got a room with things from Ed Gein's house in it.
Gross.
And it's set up like how the scene would have been when police found it. And it's very fucking disturbing, I guess you could say.
Gross.
Yeah. I don't know. When you see items like that, it's got such a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to describe that. Like, just knowing that it was found in his farmhouse is just like
in the summer kitchen.
In the summer kitchen, yeah. Ugh, God. So residents complained enough that it was decided that they couldn't charge people for viewing the house. So that part of it was thrown out, but the auction was still on. And on March 20th, 1958, just 10 days before the farmhouse was scheduled to be auctioned off, the entire property was burned to the ground by persons unknown. Since the home had no electricity and there was no natural disaster, authorities could only assume that the fire had been a deliberate act of arson, probably from a disgruntled resident or several disgruntled residents. When Ed was told that his home was lost to a fire, Ed's only words were, "Just as well." Years after the home burnt down, people were still finding human bones on the property.
Oh, man. Who was, I mean, I probably just people searching.
I think like workers and stuff like in the area. I believe I read one story where dogs were seen like digging.
Oh, geez.
And when investigators came out, sure enough, it was because there were bones buried.
Gross.
And then that was added into, the inventory of all of his evidence.
Stuff.
Yeah, all of his tchotchkes.
Oh, man.
So people, they were happy about the home getting burned down. But much to their dismay, some items still remained. Not everything was lost to the fire. And the auction went forward as scheduled. An estimated 20,000 people showed up just to get a look at the plot of land that he lived on.
Wow.
It's a lot of people back then. 20,000 people. And, they also wanted to get a look at Ed's possessions. They were having an auction. So, some of the items that were recovered from the property that were not damaged by the fire was a 1949 maroon Ford sedan.
Oh.
Because this car had been used the day Ed murdered Bernice Worden. This item set off a bidding war and was ultimately sold for the bargain price of $760. And who purchased this car? The owner of a sideshow who took the car, put fake dummies in it to look like Ed Gein and a mutilated female corpse, and then charged 25 cents for people to view it at various county fairs under the name the Ed Gein Ghoul Car. And I'm saying, I would have paid.
Take my money.
I would have paid to get my picture taken with his car. I'm sorry.
I paid to get my picture in the Dukes of Hazzard car.
Yeah, but no one... Yeah, I get it.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
I take my money.
So even back then, I mean, it wasn't super mainstream, but there was still a fascination by murderabilia.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bigger now, but even back then, people still... It's such a, like...
Interesting.
It's like such a human instinct for people to be
Curious.
Yeah, almost like, you know, how you pass an accident and you always look.
Yeah.
You don't want to, but it's like you can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
It's that kind of thing. It's like we're fucked up.
I think it's easier to face your own eventual mortality when you
I agree.
look at other people's. Like I don't know. It's got to be something to do with that.
Ed Gein seemed to thrive in the institution. He was happy. He had food. He did arts and crafts. Not
Painted vagina.
Yeah, nothing like that. But, you know, he had meetings with his therapist. He had a routine. And hospital staff stated that they never once needed to tranquilize him due to poor behavior. Like, he was a model patient. You know how they always say model prisoner. Mm-hmm. He didn't cause any problems. Like, people were like, he's actually really fucking pleasant, but he's odd.
He's odd,
but he's pleasant.
Yeah.
Like, he was the least fucked up person in the psych ward. Yeah.
I can't.
Saying something, I guess. I don't know. Because of his progress over an entire decade, in January of 1968, it was determined by his psychiatrist that Ed Gein was now mentally competent to stand trial. And in November of that year, the trial of Ed Gein finally began. The first thing that struck everyone in the courtroom was the complete physical transformation of Ed. He was no longer gaunt and disheveled. He was now at a healthy weight. He was clean shaven. He was wearing, you know, a suit. He looked very polished. He just seemed like a brand new man. And one spectator even went as far as saying that she almost felt sorry for him, that he just looked like a lonely old man. He didn't look like the horrific grave-robbing murderer who wore women's faces and vaginas. Like, people were looking at him and it was just like, it was a spectacle. They were like, I can't believe that this man in front of me, who looks like a little pep, little peepaw, little grandpa.
He's just a little guy.
No one could believe that he did this. Like, I still can't believe it. I mean, and I never even saw the dude. Like, I can't believe that someone... Anyway.
Yeah.
Ed's plea remained the same. Not guilty by reason of insanity. He actually opted for no jury. So the judge would be determining Ed's fate. Mm-hmm. It's a gamble that you take. Ed took the stand in his own defense. Y'all know how I feel about that.
Never smart.
And he claimed that he had accidentally shot Bernice Worden and that he didn't remember anything after that. Didn't remember bringing her body home, butchering it, decapitating it, hanging it from the ceiling. Nothing. When showed the crime scene photos, Ed stared at them for a long time. And the prosecutor would later go on to say that Ed was staring at those crime scene photos like a man would stare at a Playboy centerfold.
I'm sure he was.
You can tell that he got some pleasure out of it. The judge ultimately ruled that Ed was guilty, and thus phase 2 of the trial began. And phase 2 was solely to determine if Ed was sane or insane at the time of the murder. So they found him guilty, but they're like, was he sane? Taking everything into account, Judge Golmar delivered a verdict of not guilty by reason of insanity. And Ed was actually sentenced to be recommitted to the Central State Hospital for the criminally insane. So, yeah, it was ordered that Ed remain institutionalized indefinitely or until he was deemed sane enough that he would no longer pose a threat to society should he be released. Ed later told reporters that he had no intention of ever being set free. So, like, he was like, yeah, I'm fucked.
It's like, I get it.
Yeah, and he actually went as far as saying that he was happy to be going back to the institution. I mean, again, he really thrived there. This happiness, however, wouldn't last long, and Ed started to become restless in the institution. He wanted more freedom. And in 1974, just 6 years after his trial, Ed filed a petition for release stating that he was now completely competent and he was ready to become a productive member of society. As evidence that Ed was mentally healthy, he noted that he held jobs in the hospital for which he got paid for. He was allowed to freely walk the grounds, and he hadn't ever caused even one problem during the time he was committed. Doctors, however, testified that Ed Gein was still mentally disturbed and that he absolutely should not be released into society. And it wasn't only for society, they also feared for him. Like, people would not take very well to him being out in public, just walking around.
No.
And also, he didn't have anybody. He had no family. He had no friends. So even though, like, he had a checking account from the odd jobs that he did in the hospital and he was saving up money, what the fuck would he have done? Would anyone have hired him?
No.
I mean, he's older now. He's frail.
Yeah.
He's Ed Gein. He wears people's vaginas. Like, I'm sorry, but
faces.
it doesn't seem like a great idea to let him go for, you know, the safety of the public, but also for himself.
Yeah.
So the judge agreed and he rejected Ed's petition for release. 4 years later, the institution that Ed had been held in for years was actually converted to a correctional facility, and Ed, who was now 72 years old, was transferred to Mendota Mental Health Institute, where he would ultimately die from respiratory failure, which was due to complications from lung cancer at the age of 78 years old. He was buried next to his mother, father, and brother in Plainfield Cemetery, which is coincidentally one of the cemeteries that he used to grave rob from. Due to his gravestone being repeatedly stolen, the grave now sits unmarked, but you can clearly see where he's buried. Like, it's between two headstones, and there's just this big space that you can tell a gravestone was at.
Ugh.
And I find it really ironic that Ed used to steal bodies from the same cemetery that he's now buried in, and now people are stealing the headstone from his grave. It's a fucked up, ironic thing.
I almost wonder if anybody's ever actually tried to steal him.
I wondered that too. And I wondered it to the point where I actually Googled it and I couldn't find anything.
So probably not, but maybe.
Maybe. I'm sure that they probably did what they did to his mom and they encased him in cement. So, like, if a body's in cement, you ain't digging him up. You know what I mean? Like,
that's fair.
But yeah, I mean, I guess they would, you know, have a headstone there, and people were like chipping away at it at first, and they would take like pieces of it and like just for, you know, murderabilia, right? And then I want to say that they replaced it a couple of times, and then it was just like flat out stolen. Like, somebody took the whole thing and they were like, fuck it, like, we're done. We're not going to keep doing this.
I get it, because the state's paying for it.
Yeah, and from what I read, the gravestone actually showed up in like Washington. How it made its way there, I have no idea. But it was apparently returned to the police department in Wisconsin, and I guess it's just sitting in with all of the other shit. I don't.
Right there.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, as we discussed briefly in part 1, the legacy of Ed Gein continues to live on in movies, in books, in television series, and in our nightmares. And that is the story of Ed Gein, the Butcher of Plainfield, the Ghoul of Plainfield, and the Plainfield Head Collector. I wish they would have named him the Plainfield Vagina Collector, but I guess that would have been taking it too far for the 1950s. I don't think they would have been able to post that in a newspaper, the Plainfield Vagina Collector.
The Pussy Pirate.
Oh my God.
Too much.
The Plainfield Pussy Collector. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with us?
Go with the triple P's. The Plainfield Pussy Pirate.
Missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity. That's what we should name this
episode. It's a good band
episode.
name. But also, did you know that there is a band called Ed Gein?
I did not.
There is.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
I will not be listening to them.
Little fun fact for you.
Are they good?
I have no idea. It just came up in my research.
They made a lot of stuff.
Well, good for them. I mean, I guess. I'm not knocking anyone's musical taste. I mean, I listen to some questionable shit for sure, but that stuff, just like the real crazy metal stuff like that, gives me anxiety. Like, it's just too much.
I currently have anxiety from that, or the 4 shots of non-decaf espresso.
I mean, it had nothing to do with the espresso or anything.
Nothing.
And you wonder why you have anxiety problems.
Coffee!
But anywho, we hope you guys had a macabre time listening to these past 2 episodes.
I'm still going to say macabre.
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 But yeah, this comes out right before the Ed Gein show on Netflix is set to premiere. I think it's October 3rd, right?
I believe it's in that time frame.
Yeah, so I have a feeling that this is going to be like a big thing. Like, you know how when the Dahmer series came out and then you saw like a bunch of memes of Evan Peters like just being Dahmer.
Yeah.
And
he did a great job.
Oh my God, he's amazing.
He really is. He's a great actor.
He is amazing. And he captured the essence of Jeffrey Dahmer so fucking well. Mm-hmm. Just his whole vibe. Like, even if you watch interviews of Jeffrey Dahmer, like, he must have studied that shit, like,
I'm sure,
over and over, because he had his mannerisms down. He had his voice down, the way he walked, like, everything. Like,
yeah, it's amazing when like actors and actresses can really embody someone. It's so cool.
It really is. Yeah. But I have a feeling that there's going to be a renewed interest in Ed Gein after this series comes out, and like I said, I'm just really curious to see if they're going to go as far as showing him with the skin suit. I saw in the trailer, which I've literally watched like 50 times probably because it's so good. Like, the trailer is so good, and I'm so excited to see Charlie Hunnam.
I don't even know I haven't.
The guy from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, the hot one?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's playing Ed Gein, and
but he's not little though.
He transformed.
Really?
For this role.
Okay.
Let's do a live react. Have you watched it yet? Have you watched the trailer?
No.
Let's do a live reaction to it real quick.
All right.
And I'll cut some of it out, but I want to get your reaction to seeing Charlie Hunnam as Ed Gein, because you're going to be like, that is not Charlie Hunnam. That's literally Ed fucking Gein sitting there. I can't believe you haven't even seen it once.
Shit.
No. Watch the trailer.
It's going to be called Monster?
Yes. It's part of the Monster series. So first he did Jeffrey Dahmer. Mm-hmm. Then he did the Menendez brothers. Now he's doing Ed Gein. Okay. I believe the next one that he's working on is going to be Lizzie Borden. Mm-hmm. And I hope he just continues. I hope he does, I hope he does everybody. I hope he does Ted Bundy. I hope he does... Are you going to watch it? So now Alicia has not seen the trailer for the new Monsters series on Netflix, which is going to be about Ed Gein. So we're going to do a little...
Say Ed Gein again, because...
Ed Gein. What? Did I say it wrong?
No, before you said it fast. It sounded like Again.
Oh.
I was like...
Wait, that's not it.
This isn't it? This one came out 2 hours ago.
Is that a new one?
Let's live react together. Come over here. Start mine over too.
So apparently a new trailer just came out a couple hours before we started recording this second episode. We're going to live react to it right now. I'm so excited because I saw the first one, and the first one is so bonkers, and I'm just, oh man. Oh, it's 2 minutes and 53 seconds.
That's okay. Let's do this.
All right, let's do it.
You're the one we can't look away.
They did it!
They did it.
Okay, I have thoughts. We're going to discuss this. First of all, I don't like the fact... that it's so sensationalized, because I see a scene where there is a woman tied up like in a basement, and that never fucking happened.
None of the women were thick, and I'm upset on behalf of all of us.
That's a
curvy
problem.
women. That's a problem because that's the main part of the story.
That's the crux of why he did what he did.
Even the mom wasn't that voluptuous.
Correct.
She was eating a biscuit, but
I guess eating a biscuit makes you thick.
I mean,
I don't know.
We all know I eat the Mickey Biscuit. McDonald's biscuits.
Yeah, it looks very sensationalized, which of course is pretty on par with Ryan Murphy. There were things that he did both in Dahmer and also in the Eric and Lyle Menendez one that I was like, I get that that it's cinema. Okay, I get it, but also I don't know. Like, I'm a factual girly. Like, I like to stick to the facts. Don't really love how in the trailer they gave it away that he wore the booby suit.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they would have left that for an episode. But they went there.
But I think that's part of the lore for people not like you and I who are interested in the true crime part. People are going to be like, did he do surgery on himself and get himself boobs?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. But they're going to watch just to see what the fuck that was.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain that I saw a scene where he looks like he's like kind of dancing with a chainsaw, like how Leatherface did. And that pisses me off because...
Did he have a chainsaw?
No.
No, I mean, I must have missed that part.
It looks like it. And I don't like that because that's feeding into the whole like... The horror genre made that up.
And then all the faces were in jars. Did you see that part?
Yeah.
That's not... He didn't have like 18 different faces, or did he? He had a couple.
He had a lot of skin masks.
He did have a lot.
Yes, but I don't believe that he kept them in jars like that with liquid. I don't believe.
No.
I mean, one of them was found in a fucking bag. So I believe that he did use like oil and stuff to like preserve the softness of... Anywho. Yeah, so
Ugh.
we're gonna have some stuff to talk about come October 3rd when Netflix drops, this new series. So we'll see.
It does look very glorified. And
yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
I was gonna say I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna like it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be one of those annoying people that watches it with my fiance. Like, nope, that's inaccurate, and I know that I do that, and it is very annoying. So,
I'll warn Daddy T.
Yes, I apologize to him already, even though he doesn't know it yet. But anyway, thank you guys for listening.
Yeah,
and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Don't be one.
Bye.
Bye.